All right. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. We're doing things a little bit different today in support of the A Day Off Twitch, hashtag A Day Off Twitch thing. So as you'll notice on YouTube, we're doing this as a live stream, and we're not doing it on Twitch. We'll be back on Twitch tonight for our AEW recap. I feel like Twitch will get the point with us not being with our massive pull. They'll get the idea, man. They need to turn their act around. Enough of these bot raid things. They're awful, and we got to get rid of them. At the same time, it's really difficult for a couple of old men like us to get out of our technological safety zone and hop into a new technological danger zone.
Well, I hesitate to call this a danger zone, but it's something a little different.
Anyways, so we're going to be talking about, of course, the latest episode. We're on road to new NXT now is the thing. And it seems to be petering out as opposed to going out with a bang. But we'll talk about that in a second. We're also going to be talking about the very secretive changes, and we're going to recklessly speculate about what some of these changes mean because we have a couple of little tiny clues, perhaps, as to what these changes in NXT entail. But first, we're going to talk about WrestleMania and a change, kind of, that I'm very happy about.
Same.
Before you get started on that, though, Larson, how about this? You're on YouTube right now. Y'all are on YouTube. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're close to 197,000 subs. We've never been there before.
Never been there. It's the closest we've probably ever been.
Yeah, right.
Never got to 197. You know, it's after 197,000.
197,001.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
Yeah, pretty huge. Again, a threshold we have never crossed.
And
before.
when we hit 200,000 subs on YouTube, oh boy, 200,000 hours live stream.
No.
I don't even know how many years that would be. Probably a lot, right?
Well, it's what, 10,000 days?
Is that what it is? Yeah, that
like
right.
8,000 days, 9,000.
It's like
days.
a Bruno run. Anyways, so yeah, why don't we start talking about the first thing, which is, that's right. Hold on a second. Let me change.
Here, I'll get on it. So, Steve, I got a question for you. Do you like the 2-day WrestleMania?
Yes. Don't even have to think about it. Yeah, I love it. It's great. It's amazing. Absolutely.
Well, good, because according to Fightful Select, by the way, go subscribe to Fightful Select. They're the best. It looks like we might be getting another 2-day Mania, this time in Dallas next year in 2022. Fightful Select is reporting that as of last week, the plan was to do a 2-day event for WrestleMania 38 on April 2nd and April 3rd. And they note this will be the first time they do the 2-day Mania in front of, we hope, a packed stadium.
Yeah.
Of course, this past Mania, capacity was like 25%?
Was it 25?
Like
that sounds right.
Something like that at Raymond James Stadium at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
The goal, I would assume, is to run it in Dallas, selling every ticket they can. So that'd be great if this 2-day thing. They seem, like it. You would think, oh, you got to dedicate your whole weekend to WrestleMania. But having been to a really long WrestleMania live, where it's like a 7-hour time you have to dedicate to wrestling, it's a lot. It's a lot to sit through, as opposed to breaking it up into 2, 3.5, 4-hour shows.
Yeah, 33 was the one we went to. We went to 31 and 33, but 33, I think, was when they really started to get obnoxious with the runtime. I don't have it in front of me, but that was a brutally long show. And I think, dude, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I was going to say, I think it was about 7 hours in total from kickoff show till the end of because I think it was 2-hour kickoff and a 5-hour main card, or a 3-hour kickoff and a 4-hour main card, something like that. I think it was 7 hours. Don't quote me, but I think it was 7 hours.
I think you're right. That's an hour away from being a full work day.
No,
I don't like that.
Oh, and if you saw how grumpy Steve was afterwards.
I don't remember if it really translated during the 33 recap, which we did right afterwards at our Airbnb. I tried to hold it together. I did. I can only do so much. I was not into it at all. I there's too many advantages, I feel, to a 2-day WrestleMania. Number one, from the WWE's perspective, if you want to dominate the weekend, and who knows if takeovers are even going to be a thing anymore. If you want to dominate the weekend, then what better way to do that than to run both days? Shorter days. You also have the opportunity, in my mind, yeah, maybe the night 2 main event is the main event of main events, right? But I do feel that Bianca Sasha was a true WrestleMania main event. It wrestled one of the nights of WrestleMania, and it also spurs fan debate. Hey, which night was better? There's a lot you can do with 2 nights.
Well, I mean, like, probably the number one perspective I would think for WWE would be financial. You could sell out 2 nights as opposed to just one.
You would think so,
now,
yeah.
Whether they would reduce ticket price a little bit because they want to encourage people to buy tickets for both nights, So, like, in total, people would actually maybe spend more for tickets over the course of 2 nights as opposed to one. But I don't know if they would do that or not. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that's good news right there. Let's see here. And then now that we're about to talk about NXT, let's talk about the changes. I'm going to have to redo this entire layout here on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to change the entire deal, which is fine. I'll do it. I like designing new stuff. I'm looking forward to these changes in NXT. I wonder how ridiculous it's going to be. It might be cool, but apparently one thing it's not going to be is revealed until the actual thing is revealed, until the actual episode September probably 14th. I would imagine. I don't even think that's been made official necessarily. I mean,
no, I think that's just kind of the assumption. Yeah.
But sorry. I mean, yeah, because that's going to be the next live episode of NXT. The ones that are airing right now for the next this last one yesterday and then the one next week are all taped. But yeah, apparently it's a pretty closely guarded secret. What do we know so far, Larson?
Well, this is according to Fightful Select again. By the way, we said it before, we'll say it again. Go subscribe to Fightful Select. So the upcoming production changes for NXT are top secret classified. That's what Fightful Select has to say. It doesn't appear as if many talent within the company have been told much about the rebranding effort. So apparently WWE is remaining very tight-lipped about the details on NXT's future look and branding moving forward in that regard. And Fightful Select heard from one talent who said that they could tell there was something going on the CWC in terms of changes to the space, the venue, because it's being taken apart. And this is from Fightful Select, with the ring area mentioned as something that was being adjusted.
The ring area. So, speculate. Are we looking at a moat situation? The ring is in the middle and they're going to have a moat, a waterway around it? Maybe because they're in Orlando. That's factual. Alligators. Lots and lots of alligators out there in Florida. It's crazy. Florida's like only second to Australia in terms of the craziness going on out there. You go to Australia, there's all sorts of monsters running around.
Oh, you mean in terms of in terms of the wildlife, yeah.
Yeah, but in Florida, when I say monsters, I mean like people too, because they're crazy down there. The Florida man situation is out of control, Larson. Hey, how about that? They introduced a new character, Florida Man. But
come on, don't make me laugh.
You got to get over that now. I like making it up. He just like sort of roams around and does different Florida Man things. Like there's a dude on bath salts. He like roams around the crowd and like hisses at them and stuff. That'd be crazy. I'd tune in for that.
Yeah, that'd be something else.
If they had Florida Man there during the Wednesday Night Wars, NXT might be on top.
Well, maybe. I don't know. At the same time, though, I would imagine Florida Man, the character, would be maskless. And given the situation there in Florida, they'd probably have to shut down operations at the CWC.
He'd be very frustrated. He'd be the new variant. So, yeah, you get him. You get a couple other characters. WWE Red Carl instead of Red Card. You got Red Carl. He represents WWE Red Card. Yeah. I'm just coming up with WCW characters.
Yeah, virtually. It would be cool if they could somehow, if they want to take NXT into the future, focus on the future up-and-coming talent. I think they need to focus on up-and-coming technology. If they can find some way to make the ring levitate, if you will, above the floor. Imagine that. You can raise it and lower it. take the fight underneath the ring.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Brand new experiences.
They're taking this ring apart. Are they going to do the 6-sided ring like Impact used to do? Are they going to do, I don't know, like a ring that like all of a sudden like you're in the middle of a match and then like there's like random trap doors and you fall down there and a Florida man's under the ring. Florida man.
He starts coughing in your general direction. Yeah.
Right? He's like, I'm going to take you to a school board meeting.
Oh my gosh.
So there's all sorts of things they can do with this new NXT. I'm looking forward just because I like change sometimes. I like when I hope they do something crazy.
Here's the thing too. Well, I think one thing we're going to see for sure is like a brighter atmosphere. Yeah. Obviously with the new logo they've debuted, it's more colorful. I imagine it'll be a lot more color. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to be brighter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I think you'll be able to see every nook and cranny of that space.
I think primarily what you're going to see is people. I think that anybody can take a look at the CWC and say this is a massive failure in terms of the crowd presence. They look like wallpaper. It looks like, I understand that Triple H wants it to be like proper Thunderdome from Mad Max, where it's like sort of a amphitheater type and people are like, they're all up here and everything. It looks awful. It minimizes crowd involvement. And so maybe if they want to, and I know we're under, there's got to be some restrictions with what's going on, but maybe long term, they're looking to pack more people in, have them feel like a more vital element of the show. I mean, that's one thing that that I can say as a fan watching on TV. There really is not much substitute for live fans, for live crowds. Mm-hmm, they really do add a ton. And I think that's one thing NXT, sadly, we've often talked about how cool it would have been if NXT toured at smaller venues. Or I think when we talk about 205, we're like, hey, how cool it'd be if 205 toured like PWG type venues or old armories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you have that kind of feel to it. Maybe it's going to be like a slicker version of that. I'm not saying people are going to be right up there on the apron, like banging their hands, but maybe it's going to be, or maybe it's just going to be a little bit more traditional, but in a smaller space where you have rows of people as opposed to stacks of people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. Who knows?
So yeah.
Okay, well, hold on. This is interesting. While we're talking about this is from Brian Alvarez. This is WrestlingNews.co just had this up. So it says here on a Wrestling Observer Live discussion about this week's NXT, Brian Alvarez, so Great Assault, said that he heard from people in WB who were telling him that new NXT will be produced by Vince and Bruce Pritchard.
Okay, so confirmed it's going to be shit. Okay.
This is the quote from WrestlingNews.co. It says, like anything can change. Anything is possible. I talked a while ago about how we're going to have a new NXT. It's going to be like the old NXT. I've heard from several people now that they won't, when they go back to live shows, it's going to be a Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard production. So, Alvarez's record as far as scoops, I don't know exactly what the percentage is on accuracy, but it's out there. So we'll see.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I think we're gonna be able to tell pretty quickly whether that's the case.
We'll be able to tell night one. Yeah, he's an attraction. Who? Okay, let's say Bruce Pritchard is in charge. Maybe he's the guy.
Rich Holland's right for the top.
He's sort of short. Rich Holland's short. He's like shorter than Champa, and Ciampa's short.
Well, Ciampa's not short. He's my height. He's average height.
He's wrestler short. I mean, most of AEW is wrestler short.
Ridge, yes, he might not be 6'4", jacked.
He's jacked.
An attraction.
He's jacked. He's not an attraction.
He's an attraction just as much. It's as far as attractions, if you will. I consider Ridge an attraction because he's got the rugby playing background. Mm-hmm. They can tap into that.
Okay.
He's like a world-class athlete, that kind of stuff. You got him. You got Odyssey Jones.
He's an attraction. He's an attraction.
Pretty damn athletic. Has got a ton of personality.
That dude's an attraction. Yeah.
Yeah.
About Duke.
I didn't see it from Duke last night.
Yeah, I didn't see it from Duke either, to be honest with you. The bloom has come off Duke. He's got a long way to go to be almost perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. We have Parker Boudreaux. We'll give him the title on the first night. He's an attraction.
You never know. I mean, that guy has a passing resemblance to Brock Lesnar. So
yeah, they might do something crazy. Apologies to people having issues on YouTube right now, because I see our chat lighting up with hey, we're having problems with YouTube. Apologies to that.
Apologies. Hopefully the VOD will be in good shape here.
It's not like we didn't want to come to the garage sale side of live streaming. YouTube's great for VOD and selling ads, but their live stream, oh boy. A little bit to be desired. It's not an attraction.
While we're talking about Duke Hudson, Rich Holland, let's talk about NXT last night. Our thoughts. Yeah. What did you think of NXT last night, Steve?
Thought it was an attraction. I thought it was. I mean, it was whatever, dude. I mean, I will say this in anticipation of what's going on. It's clear they are not advancing stories for some sort of grand finale. They are in a holding pattern. I was actually shocked. One thing I was shocked about was Champa beating Rich Holland.
Yeah, that surprised me too.
I was shocked about that. And I think Champa might end up on main roster, given that he had his recent comments about, as long as I don't have to go to, he said he's only halfway through his career. That dude's aiming for that Intercontinental Championship. That's his goal right now. I could see him going in the draft. I could totally see,
that's entirely possible. Yeah,
unless it's going to be a thing where Vince and Bruce show up and they're like, "Oh, Champa, you're an attraction." But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to, Champa he's got a great look to him. He's a great wrestler. Put him up on main roster.
He's a really good wrestler.
Give me Randy Orton versus Champa. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, that's something Orton wants.
Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of shocking. I thought the Way stuff, the Gargano stuff was really funny. The Dexter stuff, trying to fit in, that was funny. That'll come to a head at the wedding. But I don't know. Let me take a look at these notes here.
It's a situation where it just felt like there was a lot of spinning of the wheels. It's hard, given that we know there's potentially major changes.
Yeah. First,
probably in terms of look, production of the show, so on, probably as we go on, in terms of actually how the wrestling product we see in front of us could potentially change quite a bit too. If what we're hearing is accurate. It's really hard to get invested. I use the minor league baseball team analogy all the time with NXT. And right now it feels like, hey, you got this minor league team here and they're the affiliate for one team. Well, guess what? After this season, now you're an affiliate for the team you like anymore.
Yeah, right.
They're going to be an affiliate for another team. So all the players that maybe been around a season or two that you kind of got used to, and eventually they'll go to your favorite team. They're going to be gone. They're going to be in some AAA team across the country, and a new team's coming in, a team you're probably not a fan of, with a whole bunch of players you have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it feels like now.
Totally.
It's like you have to reinvest kind of all over again.
Yeah.
And, depending, so long as they can tell, if they get to the point with whatever this rebrand of NXT looks like, if they can tell interesting stories and still put on good matches, which advance those stories, it'll still be worth watching.
Yeah.
But it remains to be seen if that's going to be the case. Like what we saw last night, we had a lot of matches that had veteran talent against younger talent. We had Duke Hudson against Kyle O'Reilly. We had Drake Maverick teaming up with Grayson Waller against Imperium. And the main event, Ridge Holland versus Tommaso Ciampa. All perfectly fine matches, but I didn't feel like any of them lived up to what we have come to expect, even just from NXT TV.
I totally agree. I do. I think it's funny because it feels on one hand like they're setting up, obviously, for something new. But there's also, I don't know, it's okay, I'll put it this way. It's kind of difficult for me to separate what we've heard from what's actually happening, from what I'm seeing. So, for example,
yes,
Samoa Joe gave an interview where he basically says, this is my mandate, right? This is what I want to do. I've established a precedent for being an NXT champion. It was fairly generic for Samoa Joe, Yes. Who's going to step up next is basically the point of this 5-minute interview. Who's going to step up next? I'm champion, and I'm going to comport myself as such. So basically, I'm going to be a babyface champion who's going to step up and take this from me, right?
Yeah.
There's no obvious contenders right now. We have no idea because they don't know. Kaylee Ray had virtually the same interview, right? Except from a heel's perspective. I came here to make an impact. Nobody measures up to me. Okay. And so, Raquel Gonzalez fought Jessie Kamaya in advance of a Frankie Monet feud, right? That's going to be a whole lot of nothing. Cameron Grimes, for some reason, is using his shoot voice. He's got a nothing match with Gibson coming up. So yeah, there's meanwhile, the only really thing of substance is the Gargano Way stuff, because that's actually building to something that's building to the wedding coming up. And that's going to be, evidently that might be Triple H's last word, but I feel like he's getting in potentially he's helping some of his employees fill out their resume a bit. Champa gets the win over Holland because who knows if Champa is going to be around much longer.
Yeah.
So I think they feel like MSK is probably going to be sticking, or they should be going to main roster, but they probably going to stick around NXT.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because they have sort of a vibe, I think, of what NXT is going to want to go for.
Yeah. Here's another, I was thinking about this while you were talking there. Another perspective you can kind of take with the whole NXT is going to be a Vince and Bruce production now. Maybe it doesn't necessarily mean in terms of the creative aspect, but in terms of the visual look of the show. Raw is brighter. Raw and SmackDown are brighter, more vibrant programs with a lot more kind of spectacle going on, just visually. I'm not talking necessarily about a bunch of pyro and a bunch of crazy stuff happening, just in terms of how the show is produced. And maybe that's what Alvarez was talking about, not so much from a creative capacity, because when you say it's going to be a Vince Bruce production, it can kind of be interpreted either way. I agree. Before we get into the recap, though, let's go ahead and get a word in from a couple of our sponsors today. Sure. Larson, you want to kick us off? Sure, yeah. Let's take a quick break here to get a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it can be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed, and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp isn't a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule weekly phone or video sessions. And they've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Craig. Steve, I want to take up a new hobby.
Ooh.
I want to start building stuff out of wood with these hands of mine. But honestly, I have no idea where to start. Where do I start?
Okay, wait. Larson wants to get into woodworking now? Huh?
Yeah.
All right, man. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I was once like you, feeling the urge to craft something with these hands, but unsure if I could do so. But then I got these hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. Craig has been the innovator and leader in pocket hole joinery, setting the standard for 30 plus years. And now if I got my Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro and a drill, I feel like I can build nearly anything from bookcases to desks to outdoor patio furniture.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Tell me more, please.
I'll tell you more, Larson. You see, pocket hole joinery is a way of creating fast, simple, and strong joints in a variety of wood projects. And the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro makes it easier than ever. You know me, Larson. I've never been terribly handy, and the thought of building something out of wood with these hands of mine seemed like a pipe dream. But after going to craigtool.com, that's KREG tool.com, getting my hands on a Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro, I can build pocket hole projects anytime, anywhere.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, I am impressed. I got to say, question for you, though. I need some furniture back here, maybe like a bookcase, maybe another desk. Can you build me one, please?
No, Larson. You know why?
Why?
Because you could do it yourself. Now anyone Even Larson can easily create perfect and strong pocket hole joints with the Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro. It works with a wide variety and size of material and is great for building all types of indoor and outdoor wood projects.
The Craig Pocket Hole Jig 520 Pro comes with everything you need and retails for just $99.99. It's available nationwide at Home Depot, Lowe's, and other home centers, woodworking, and hardware stores. Learn more at craigtool.com. That's KREG Tool.com.
Again, that's craigtool.com, KREG Tool.com. All right, let's head back into our NXT recap here. It kicked off with Mandy Rose versus Saray. Where's my notes here? Mandy Rose, let's see here.
This felt very much, we were texting about this particular bout when we both started. This felt very much like a main roster type match, even down to the finish.
Yeah, it did.
Which saw Saray hit that awesome drop kick where her opponents, kind of seated against the ropes. And when she does that, Mandy tumbles out of the ring. And of course, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane accompany Mandy down to the ring. And they get a towel and put over Mandy's face and kind of escort her out of the ring up the ramp. And then so Saray wins via count out. But it's an interesting kind of an anticlimactic way to start a show. Usually NXT is pretty good about if they have a match that starts the show, they put on a really good match and you get a finish. That's at least somewhat satisfying, typically speaking.
Yeah, it was kind of
very much like the middle of the second hour of Raw type match.
I felt like it was something like Saray did that drop kick, and they were so horrified because like maybe Mandy's prosthetic nose came off, like she was old timey syphilitic, like back on the Nick. Remember, people's noses pop off. They have fake noses. Maybe she's hiding. Maybe this is like the most main. This is a Bruce Pritchard thing. Well, how about this? She's old timey syphilitic and has a fake nose, and it comes off because of that crazy drop kick, and they have to cover her face in horror, shock horror, and that's the story. Is going to be, she's got to get a new nose now.
I don't feel like Bruce Pritchard could come up with anything like that.
He was watching the Nick. And
yeah, I mean, if he literally just watched that show the night before, pitching the story idea.
Hey, how about this? Mandy Rose is beautiful, but then her nose pops off. Not so beautiful anymore. You need a nose for that.
Yeah. So that's how we opened NXT. After that, we had Tommaso Ciampa promo. He was like, hey, you can't win them all. Talking about Thatcher losing last week. He says he had no problem with that. What he has a problem with was Ridge Holland and the rest of the Pete Dunne group going after Thatcher, using the Billy Club to take him out. Doesn't sit well with them. And he says, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to run roughshod over NXT. Well, I'm NXT. And tonight, he says he's going to fight for his home, his family. He's going to dedicate this match to Toothless Timmy. He says they just picked a fight with the most dangerous man on the planet. He says a motivated Champa is a dangerous Champa.
Yeah. Motivated Champa is more enjoyable to watch Champa. After that, we had Duke Hudson versus Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly had he wasted an entire roll of that rock tape. He had the DDP Adam Cole rock tape FPOS rib tape going.
It went from one pectoral all the way across his rib cage and around diagonally.
Yeah.
All the way to his back. And it took up, I don't know, at least a good 40% of his chest.
Yeah.
Midsection was covered in rock tape.
He's all rock tape. I should make a creator wrestler
rock tape
who's just all rock tape, nothing but rock tape. So, anyways, Duke Hudson had a really good match until the very end. He was dominating a lot of this. Kyle O'Reilly turns it around, hits a knee drop on the back of Hudson's knee, and taps him out in a knee bar. So Kyle O'Reilly picks up the win here.
It pretty much went exactly as you'd expect. The up-and-coming talent, Duke Hudson, dominates the match. The veteran gets 3 moves off, puts on a submission, and wins.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping Triple H would burn it down on the way out the door. Maybe this is his version of
Well, I wonder if it's a situation where at first the up-and-coming talent falls a bit short to the veteran talent, but eventually it's not about winning and losing, Steve. What is it about?
It's about winning and learning.
Exactly. So if you don't win, you're learning. Duke Hudson hopefully learned something from this match, and next time he takes on I don't know, Ciampa or Thatcher or somebody.
Well, he needs to
learned from his experience and gets the win.
He really needs to take he needs to have a match with that idiot. What's his name? Waller? Boy, that
Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller's a mess. Man, how'd that guy even get past week 1 of wrestling school? He's like, he was a mess in that man. We'll get to that in a second. Next up, James Bond villain in training Ilya Dragunov shows up. Man, this guy looks like $1 million in a turtleneck. He's got that persistent scab up here on his head.
He's got stitches. They were just stitched up.
Big old stitches. And let's see here. So he comes out and he says, before I go back home, I wanted y'all to see that I'm still alive. I'm not just alive. I feel more alive than I've ever felt before. I feel like a man who just survived the most intense battle of his life. I mean, he probably did just survive the most intense battle of his life. So that's literally what he is. He says, I like it here. And you will see me again soon. But for now, I have shown what it takes to be an NXT UK champion. The will, the passion, the soul, the struggle. Who is willing to go through all of that to take this away from me? The ring general has fallen. Long live the Khazar. It's a silent C. It's a silent C.
Yeah, it's a silent
C. It's just
Czar. Czar. Then we got a Kaylee Ray interview. She says she makes an impact wherever she goes. She thrives in the biggest moments, and she chose one of the biggest moments to let everyone know that she's in the United States in NXT Prime. She claims the women's division needs a boost, a new top player, and that is why Regal called her. Says she doesn't care about anyone else in the division. Says that Zoe Stark got lucky that she has Io Shirai to hide behind. Dakota Kai couldn't get the job done. Ember Moon, yesterday's news, says that's why she's here, because Regal knows what she is capable of. She dominated in the United Kingdom. Now she's going to dominate in the USA.
After that, we got a Carmelo Hayes interview, and he says, I got the golden ticket. I can challenge for whatever championship I want. People think, maybe he might run it back with Kushida, or maybe I'll swerve everyone, or maybe I'll go straight to the top and take on Samoa Joe. Well, you always say, like, why wouldn't they just go to the top? Like, there shouldn't be any question here. Go after Joe. Go after number one. Joe is like the oldest. He's probably still got some ring rust. He's overconfident because he beat Cross. But, like, if you take one look at Cross these days, it's kind of like not the same Cross as like a couple months ago.
It seems like carrying Cross is a bit of a broken man, yes.
Joe seems like, from statistically anyways, he seems like he'd be the easiest opponent maybe.
But here's the thing. If you got the golden ticket to go after any title you want, why wouldn't you go after the top title? You know?
Yeah, I mean, if
you go in there and you fail, you know, say you go in there, you fail maybe, but you put in a strong showing, man, you're instantly legit. You go in there with the top guy in the company and hold your own, show that you're legit, even in defeat. Assuming you don't get squashed, even in defeat, I'd say that's a pretty solid step to take.
If this is main roster back during the championship contenders matches era, then I'd agree with you, because then you just get like 5 more matches to prove your case. Yeah. But this is NXT. I feel like there's kind of a back of the line type situation. So, I mean, I think that you pick the guy that you're most likely to beat. That's what I think you do, because then no matter what, you're champion. You've got your name in the legacy of that belt, and that makes your case.
Let's review here. So he's already lost to Kushida. But you could say it's not about wins and losses, it's about wins and learns.
Yeah.
Even in defeat, maybe he learned about how to beat Kushida.
Okay.
He's never faced Swerve in NXT.
Swerve is scary. He's got a bunch of people with him. Plus, he's really good.
Yes. And then you got Joe.
I'd go after Joe. He's like the top champion. Oddly enough, seems like the guy who's most vulnerable right now. So that's what I would do.
I'm just saying, just go after the top title.
And on top of that, it's a top title. On top of that, yeah.
You get the moxie to go after the top title when you have like 5 matches under your belt. People are going to respect that.
I don't disagree. Anyway, so he's talking about who he's going to take on. Elektra Lopez shows up, says, whoa, hey, buddy. That North American title is for Santos to win, not you. And then Legado shows up and says, Joaquin Wilde and the other guy, Raul, they're like, hey, dude, don't be talking about that. And Santos is like, whoa, chill out, tranquilo. He said, look at this is Carmelo Hayes, this is the breakout star. He says, I'm just going to tell you something, though. The North American title, it's mine, even though it's not. He says, but you're new, so I'll give you a pass because you're new. And he says, be wise, stay out of my business. The only reason I'm doing this is because you're new. You don't know any better. You're new.
Yeah. After that, we had Imperium taking on the debuting Grayson Waller. Maybe he's on 205, and I didn't know it. His NXT Prime debut.
Yeah, he was on 205. Yeah.
All right. And then Drake Maverick was his tag team partner. So before the match began, they had a promo, Drake and Grayson. And Drake's like, yeah, I faced Imperium before. I know there's stiff competition. And then Grayson Waller interrupts. He's like, oh, no, the real story here is me making my debut. And Drake's kind of settle him down. Like, no, we should got to take Imperium seriously. They're a tough team. And Grayson Waller just wants to talk about himself.
Yeah.
How excited he is to be making his NXT debut.
Like, I get that. It's good to be excited about things. But yeah. So, the story of this match is basically Drake Maverick probably wishes he had never cried on camera and got re-signed by NXT because his best friend got kicked out of the company, and now he's dealing with this idiot. And so Drake basically has this match in hand. He's got Eichner ready for maybe a finish or something. I don't know. I don't even know what Drake Maverick's finish is. So he's got him lined up for something. And then Waller's like, oh, there's my buddy. I'm going to tag in. So he tags in, and Drake's like, why are you doing that? I've got him lined up. And they just start sort of having it out, and the Imperium's able to take advantage of that. That whole distraction causes Bartel to take out Drake. Imperium hits their finish on Waller for the win. Not the most impressive. I still like that Breezango got that win over Imperium, and then they were gone. They were like, we never got that back. We never got that win back.
I know. Well, here's the thing. Like, earlier in the match, too, was like Grayson Waller started, and he was getting worked by Marcel Bartel. It's not like he had a strong showing before he tagged himself back in.
Yeah, Imperium's really going to they're going to be gassed up because friggin' Walter's coming in. They're probably going to bring Walter in NXT. I don't know. We'll see. Everything changed on the 14th. They might look at Walter and be like, well, I don't see. He's not an attraction. I don't see it. I mean, I guess anything's possible. I don't know how you don't see it when you see Walter, you know? But anyways, after that, we had Indy Hartwell and John Gargano backstage. Indy's asking Gargano to give Loomis a chance. John says, I'll think about it. He turns around. Loomis is standing right there. And Gargano says, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just be normal. Why can't you just be normal? This was pretty funny stuff, though. So we get this match. We get Gargano versus Ellie Knight. And they do the entrance, and Gargano puts his hand out for...
Hey, hold on. You don't want to talk about the Pete Dunne group promo?
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay, so we had Pete Dunne group. I don't know what else to call them, so I'm calling them Pete Dunne group.
Yeah, I got them down as the Peter Dunne Company.
All right, that's good. So Danny Burt starts, says, when you've been on the shelf for 6 months, a week is a long time to wait. Isn't it, Oni? And Oni says, yeah, we called out MSK last week. We want their answer. Pete Dunne says, Champa, you must be mad for saying you're the most dangerous man on the planet because tonight you step in the ring with a real bad man, that being Ridge Holland. Ridge says Champa wants to dedicate this match to Thatcher. Says you'll see how motivated he is when he's laying next to Thatcher in the hospital. Before we get to the match, there's a real quick bit where Gigi Dolan and JCJ attack Saray backstage.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I saw that part. Yeah, okay. So yeah. Then we had that match, Gargano versus LA Knight. Gargano goes for the no look high five but it's not Indy's not there. Dexter's no look high five is great because he just sort of really creepishly reaches out for a person, and he's trying. He goes for it, and Gargano's like, "No, you're not going to give you this." It's pretty funny stuff. He goes in there, he gets in the ring, and Indy and Dexter both do their creepy crawling thing, and that freaks out Gargano. So anyways, this match sort of goes the way it goes. Like Gargano's just basically doing a bunch of wrestling stuff while LA Knight just sort of does main roster stuff. And the finish sees Gargano trying to go for one final beat, but Knight is able to counter with a punch. That sends Gargano off the apron into the arms of Dexter Lumis. So he catches him. He puts him down. Gargano's like yelling at Dexter. And then Dexter sees Knight on his way to try to lay out Johnny. So he pushes Johnny out of the way, and Knight stops short, and he's like freaked out by Dexter Lumis. He starts doing the glove thing. Johnny then hits LA Knight, and he gets up into the ring, and Dexter reaches out for the high five. And Gargano's like, okay, I think he's okay. You think he's all right? He goes for it, and then he's right there in the middle, and she's all happy. And then Knight grabs Johnny, gives him his finisher to get the win there. And, of course, Johnny blames that on Dexter. I'm looking forward to this wedding. I think the wedding's going to be good. Hopefully they let Triple H do whatever they're going to do with it.
It could be fun. I thought Loomis's reaction to costing Johnny the match was pretty damn funny. Because he kind of just has one expression.
Yeah.
And the amount of subtlety he puts into changing it from just normal Dexter Loomis to I really messed up here expression was really good.
Yeah, no, Dexter was really good. Yeah, it was yeah. This is really good stuff. I don't know what's going to happen with Ellie Knight. I think that he's like so made for main roster. Like he just needs to be in a main roster mid card somewhere. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where he lands. Maybe he'll show up in the draft.
Could be future NXT champion. After that, we have MSK. They take a camera person. Hey, come with us to Regal's office. They knock on the door because they know Regal doesn't like people barging in. Nash Carter tells Regal they want Lorcan and Birch next week. Want to give him a title shot. Lee says, yeah, they were stripped the titles because of injury. They never beat him. Regal says, yeah, normally I would say Lorcan and Birch deserve a title shot. However, after what they did last week, I was going to take that title opportunity away from them.
Take it away from them.
Since you want to give them the title opportunity, you got it next week.
Do it next week, gentlemen. After that, we got a little thing that says Mei Ying is going to compete next week. So we finally get to see Mei Ying in the ring. That's cool. I wonder if she's going to do the Mist thing. She should.
Yeah.
I love the Mist.
Yeah.
After that, we had Raquel Gonzalez versus Jessie Kamaya. This is like 2.5 minutes long, maybe 3 minutes
really
long.
Short. It was pretty
really short. Raquel drops Jessie Kamaya with a Chingona bomb for 3.
Yeah, the Frankie Monet gets in the ring, kind of has a bit of a stare down with Raquel.
I'm doing my gummies.
I was wondering what you were eating over there. I saw you put some stuff in your mouth, start chewing over there.
Yeah, I probably should have. I should have probably just finished them before I started talking. I apologize for that.
That's all right. After that, you continue what you're doing. Ember Moon had an interview next. She said she was in the back, just trying to enjoy her birthday when she heard Kaylee Ray talk about her. Says she gets it. Kaylee Ray wants to come here and make her name off Ember. But the problem is she's never faced anyone like Ember Moon. Says Kaylee Ray was the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion. Can't take that away from her, but I will take away from her ability to talk crap. Says, challenge you to a match next week.
After that, we had a Samoa Joe interview where he's asked by Wade Barrett. He needs to come back and wrestle. I love Wade Barrett.
You got that right.
What are your expectations? And he says, reestablishing. He sounds like a CEO. He sounds like he's channeling Triple H. He says, reestablishing of a precedent. What it means to be NXT champion, to represent the brand. I didn't have the luxury of a training camp going into that match with the one who shall be unnamed. I was out recruiting talent, taking red-eye flights to and from Orlando and Las Vegas. The mission, though, needs to be accomplished. I didn't get to see my family. The mission, capture the NXT title because the precedent needed to be set. And I'm like, this is the most boring Samoa Joe talk I've ever had. He's asked, has this third reign as NXT champion, has it changed your perspective? And he says, it's taught me about legacy. Legacy is important. The other guys that have held this title, Shinsuke Nakamura, Finn Balor, other guys, I need to carry on that legacy. In the media, in front of fans, how I represent myself to the world, the path I've paved, this is the way to championship gold. The question is, who's going to step up to Samoa Joe? That's a long way. That's a lot of words to speak just to say that. Yeah, this is just, it's so like, okay.
Roundabout way to say who's going to step up, I know.
Nobody say anything specific because everything is going to change in 2 weeks.
2 weeks' time, yep. Yeah. Everything is going to change. After that, we had Roderick Strong versus Ekmanjiro. That hip toss into the ring steps by Roddy, that looked like it sucked.
Yeah, no.
Elbowed
totally
first
did.
Right to the corner, the top corner of the ring steps.
That looked ugly, yeah.
Down the stretch, Jiro ducks one of Strong's running forearms, hits some of his own. I never noticed this before. I'm sure he probably has done it, where he grabs the lapel of his blazer and hits punches with it. That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It's a lot of little details of Jiro's in-ring work are pretty entertaining. Anyways, he ends up hitting a springboard moonsault, gets 2. In the end, though, Strong hits a jumping knee and a pair of end of heartaches to get the win.
Yep.
And he starts shouting a bunch of stuff at the camera about how he's going to beat Kushida.
Yeah, and he had the Creed brothers with him too. They've got some some Diamond Mine training shirts on. It said something like train long hours, do good things or something like that.
It was like train, prepare, something else.
Eat well.
Maybe.
Do cardio.
Sure.
No, low carbs.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of training regimen they're on. Sometimes you want to eat a lot of carbs.
Sometimes you want a lot of carbs, yeah.
Sometimes you want a lot of carbs. We got a Zoe Stark, Io Shirai, and then Casey Canzero, Caden Carter interview.
Which of these teams is less likable? It's a tough question to ask. They're both babyface teams, but the only person I like in any of this is Io Shirai.
It's Io, I know. So I guess by that token, by that measure,
yeah,
it's got to be Io and Zoe.
Yeah, Io is the only person who's channeling me here. I don't like it. I really love Casey and Caden's offense. I think that they're really fun in the ring. But whenever they open their mouths, it's the most cringy thing. We're best friends, and we don't have to put. Man, I never say that about you. I'm never like, oh, you look at how great friends we are.
No,
it's just
in
there.
fact, I think if people pay attention to us, they're like, how do they get along? They seem like they despise each other.
But no, anybody with a brother looks at us and is like, oh, I get it. Yeah, it makes sense, right? But we don't have to go around and declare it. No. We just walk around and people.
The point, the Casey's thesis was, hey, look, we are actually friends. We're best friends, and that's the advantage we have over Zoe and Io because they can't stand each other. Here's the thing, I appreciate that Zoe in this interview really tried to hit the comedic beats. Yeah, she's trying.
She's been trying this entire time. It's completely and totally out of her wheelhouse. It is nothing natural for her. Mm-hmm. She should be more like I don't know, not necessarily Shayna, because Shayna was overly mean, but she should be I don't know, maybe like a Thatcher, like a no nonsense, Yeah. Why does she care if Io likes her or not? Stop caring. You're a tag team champion. You're an attraction. You're an attraction.
So anyways, Casey is like, yeah, we respect the both of you, Io and Zoe, but we're the real team because we're friends. Mm-hmm, and then Zoe's like, hey, Io, one of the most decorated champions in NXT history. It's like when we started this team, Zoe, became 100% committed. I'd even take a bullet for Io. And Casey and Kane are both like, oh, that's a bit extreme.
Yeah.
And Io just says, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. But you're on my team, so we'll win.
Yeah. After that, we had a Cameron Grimes interview. Why was he talking in his regular voice?
I don't know.
This was off-putting because he was like, who was doing the interview? Was it Mackenzie? I think it was Mackenzie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was like, the $1 million man said, I'm the number one champion, Mackenzie. It's kind of great. And the next thing I can do is go to the... And then Gibson comes, a grizzled young veteran show up. How does it feel to go through all that for weeks, only to have a bland replica championship to show for it? Maybe next week you can be North American champion or Universal champion. How about we get you another replica off WWE Shop? And then Grimes is back to his character voice. He's like, wow, the weight on this is great. What a great looking replica title. WWE Shop is great. Oh, hope it doesn't hurt. And he throws it on the ground and it hits Gibson on his foot. I'm assuming he's wearing flip-flops because that's the only way this would feel anything at all.
Some sort of open-toed shoe, yes.
Maybe he had already stubbed it or something. That's why they haven't wrestled in a while. And because, man, you could stub your toe. It hurts like hell.
Yeah, but it doesn't last for,
It doesn't last more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes it hurts like hell, and then you're fine.
And then it sort of goes away. And so he was overselling the hell out of this. So I think next week, are we getting Gibson versus Grimes?
It wasn't announced here.
Oh, really?
They announced for next week.
I thought it was announced.
So MSK versus Larkin and Birch, Ember Moon versus Kaylee Ray, Zoe and Io versus Casey and Caden, and then Carmelo Hayes versus Santos Escobar.
Yeah,
that's what they announced right before the main event.
Yeah. And then we had the main event. Tommaso Champa versus Ridge Holland. It's weird. So I was paying attention to this match. Champa, I mean, with the exception of a couple moments, like at one point, like Holland grabbed Champa, was running around the outside with him. Champa dominated a lot of this match.
Yeah, he did.
Like this was, I didn't realize that this is being used to set up Champa versus Dunn, but apparently that's going to be the situation. We're just going to Champa versus Dunn, which is going to be a barn burner. Don't get me wrong.
It'll be great, and Pete Dunne will go over. Yeah,
Pete Dunne will win, and Champa might go to Raw or something.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really cool because it's so unexpected to see Champa go to main roster, but that'd be kind of cool if he went to main roster.
It'd be cool to see when they gave him something interesting to do.
What's the least interesting thing? What's the least interesting thing on main roster not named Karrion Kross right now?
It really put me on the spot.
Sorry, there's not really anything. The problem is, it's not that there's anything overwhelmingly uninteresting. It's that so much stuff is middling. So much stuff is like not compelling.
Yeah, there might be one kind of compelling story per show. And
He's
I mean, like on one on Raw and one on SmackDown. Like the RK Bro stuff right now is pretty much the most compelling thing on Raw right now.
It'd be Champa versus, let's say, Apollo Crews.
All right.
Where it's a feud that lasts 3 months over one simple sticking point.
Yeah.
A very generic point of view of some sort. You know.
Yes.
Oh, I am destined because of my Nigerian heritage to beat you. And Ciampa's like, no. And it's like 3 months of that. It's going to be something small and stupid that's going to last forever. And they're going to have variations on Ciampa versus Aziz, Ciampa versus Cruz. And he'll be like...
Ciampa with mystery partner versus both of them.
Right. Ciampa versus like...
Yeah, it'll end up being Kevin Owens.
Yes, exactly.
Because Kevin Owens isn't doing anything.
Yeah, it'll totally end up being Kevin. We just booked a SmackDown. It's going to be from now till the end of the year.
There we go.
Holy crap.
And no one gets anything out of the entire program.
Well, he gave him something to do. He's an attraction.
And then halfway through, Bruce will get bored with it. And then Ciampa won't be on TV.
Yeah, they'll drop it for 3 weeks, and then they'll just do the same thing over again. Anyways,
that's about right.
Ciampa pretty much dominated. He's got the win with his finish.
Willow's Bell.
Willow's Bell, yeah, that's the one. Not the other one, not Fairy Tale Ending. Then Dunn comes in, attacks. Lorcan and Birch sort of come over very slowly. They start to attack. MSK comes in, makes a save. So I don't know. There's only like, I guess maybe on the 14th they'll have a big Ciampa versus Dunn thing to sort of coronate the new era of NXT before that era of NXT is really done. Like that's going to be the finale of NXT.
Maybe.
But you got to figure the next week. Wait, okay, so yeah, next week's going to be the last one that's taped.
Yeah.
I'd have figured they were going to do, but no, I guess they've got the tag match. So next week, next week they'll do Ciampa Dunn, maybe. I mean, it's not advertised right now. Maybe they'll advertise it on Twitter or something.
That's entirely possible.
They'll do, well, no, it's already out there though, so we could probably look it up. We could probably just look up what the hell the thing was, what it was.
Possible. That's true. We got an AEW Dynamite tonight, go-home show for All Out. This was on the card. FTR taking on Santana and Ortiz. That should be a hell of a match. Brian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Hopefully Hobbs gets the win tonight.
Yeah.
The Elite, Young Bucks, Good Brothers taking on Lucha Brothers and Jurassic Express. We got a couple interviews, one from Chris Jericho, one from MJF, and then Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans.
Yes. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's the 100th episode.
That's right.
That's going to be the main event. Cage versus Hobbs, probably. Oh, never mind. FTR versus
Santana Ortiz.
That's huge.
The main event.
That's huge.
That's going to be a heck of a match. You want to answer a couple questions? Yeah.
That Cage Hobbs match, that's going to be really good.
Yeah. I think
the Elite versus Lucha Bros and that's going to be good too. Jericho interview is going to be skippable. MJF interview is going to be skippable. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans, that might be good. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and answer some. I got 3 questions here on the Patreon thread that I just put up.
Very well.
First up please in the YouTube chat, load us up with some questions.
Yes, please.
Moses Supposes says, pure speculation time. Who will be NXT champion this time next year?
Ridge Holland. I feel like they're really into him. They really want to push him.
Dude, if they were really into him, he would have won last night. Not get the clean loss. No way. Last night said a lot.
Wins and learns.
Last night said a lot. A year from now is a long time in NXT time because we're about to start this new thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say a year from now it's going to be the Steiner kid, Bronson Steiner.
All right.
I think a year from now. I think he's got the look. I'm not sure if Parker Boudreaux is the guy. And I have no idea what any of these guys are like in the ring. No clue.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatsoever.
Exactly. No clue at all.
Yeah, I'm going to say Steiner.
Mike Lucas says, I'd love to see a feud with Loomis and Orton. Also, Maggie had a super chat earlier that has since disappeared. My apologies, Maggie.
Oh, no. Maggie, what did you say? Just let us know in normal chat, and we'll say it. Oh, wait. I think I can go back.
Oh, you can go back?
Maybe? Yeah, I can't. It's not letting me do it. Maggie, what did you say in your super chat?
F-Pop says, would you like to see War Games this year be for the men and women's world titles? That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
Had like a four-way match, one for the men's title, one for the women's title. That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. Maggie says, nothing important. Promise I forgot already. Sorry, man. Oh, wait. I might have it here on the live stream thing. Oh, yeah. Freaking Twitch is so booty. Let's see here. Viewer activity? Is it in viewer activity? That's weird. Doesn't even say. It's just got Mike Lucas's. My God.
That is strange.
This whole layout here just looks like it's something out of the 1990s. Let's see here. 4-Inch Fox says, is the LA Knight Project a failure? Is there a thing such as the LA Knight Project?
No, I don't think so.
I think they just brought him in because he's a really good promo. He's a decent wrestler. He totally is. He's not current NXT material, but he's definitely main roster material.
He might be current NXT material in about 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, maybe. Could be. Think he's ideal. He's like the idealized NXT 2021, 2022 guy. Maybe.
Something like that. Maggie says, I think I said something like, no Twitch subs, no problem, super chats instead, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. I do something along those lines.
David Matushik says, what do you think could be Diamond Mine's endgame after facing off against Kushida? Well, Strong is totally going to win that title. That's happening. That's happening. And, I mean, what's the end game? The what's his face Strong having that title and the Creed dudes having the tag titles. But I don't know if those things are gonna correlate given the time. Like, he's probably gonna get that title sooner than later. They're not gonna be ready for the tag titles for a while.
Exactly.
So I don't really know what that end game is. Hopefully they build a whole camp. They have like a whole bunch of people in the Diamond Mine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
And they help them put together resumes and stuff.
There we go. It's not just a fight camp, you know?
Hey, wouldn't that be kind of cool? They have so many people. That'd be kind of cool if they started to put together like fight teams. Like you've got, you know, like just in AEW, you've got Dan Lambert's American Top Team. That's like a real thing. What if they did like kayfabe fight teams? That'd be kind of cool.
Well, wouldn't they just be factions then?
Yeah, but they'd be factions, but they'd be sort of motivated factions. Because if you think about it, factions don't really even make sense. Hey, let's all team up. And
well, that makes sense. There's strength in numbers, and if there's some personal relationship, that makes sense.
Why would anybody ever be a Virgil? Hey, I'm going to join the NWO, but I'm going to be like a lackey. I'm going to be like the low guy. Factions kind of don't make sense. Yeah, they kind of make sense.
They do make sense. They totally make sense. So Wayne says the third Fatu brother has been signed. Do you think this will be the faction to beat? Because I feel that this is an easy angle to go with. Bloodline the faction to beat? They already kind of are the faction to beat, I would think. Is the idea that the Bloodline? They have all the gold. Yeah. You think he might go after the Intercontinental title? He's like brand new. Just goes through a really basic Performance Center run. Then he goes straight to main roster. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this is a good question from White Brownie. If the Vince and Bruce story is true, is it possible we get actual Wouldn't that be the shittiest thing? That'd be the shittiest thing they could possibly do. Like, yeah, we're going to come in and run it now. And then you get actual crossover where they treat NXT with respect, but it's a bunch of gassed up meatheads. So it's like, we don't want this. We wanted the other guys to get respect because they're good wrestlers. That'd be terrible.
That'd be a bit of a disappointment, yeah. Jimmy Thomas, book the Index Bachelorette and Bachelor parties. I can see Duke Hudson as a stripper.
Oh, yeah. Gargano's going to want to do. Well, yeah, it's kind of surprising they haven't gotten like Loomis like a best man or anything yet, huh? Like,
yeah,
is
I know.
he trying to appeal to Gargano to be that?
Maybe.
Like, you think
maybe
there's
we'll find more out next week.
Yeah, they have like 1 week to do that. Yeah, Gargano wants to go and do like normal bachelor party things, but Loomis just wants to go to the cemetery. He's like, or like out to the woods. This is where he buried bodies.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of had a paper, and Gargano's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Drawing a map of where to find all the bodies?" And this no, he just did like a nature scene,
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Let's see here. Maggie with a super chat says, "Pick one trade and their ideal opponent for the draft. Pretty please and gracias." Okay, let's see here. A trade.
Well, if you assume that Big E gets moved over to Raw, you want him to face Lashley then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's good. All right, I'll go with Drew McIntyre to SmackDown, and his opponent there will be who else is on SmackDown? You got Shinsuke, you got Owens, you got Sami Zayn.
Who's like number 2 heel on SmackDown right now?
Roman's number 1.
Easily.
Wait, who's Shinsuke feuding with right now? Shinsuke and Boogs against. They just had like a tag match like 2 weeks in a row, and Boogs keeps on getting the win.
Yeah, which is weird.
Who's that against?
Well, the first one was against Cruz and Aziz.
Oh, perfect. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. Thank you.
That's that? Good. There you go. There's
Snake Sosa said that. There you go. Perfect.
There's our number 2 heel. There we go. Good.
Oh, how about this? Orton goes to SmackDown. Orton versus Edge. Never seen that before.
Haven't seen it. I think that could be the greatest match ever. We've never seen it before.
Could be the greatest match ever. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.